scene.
Like, I always say horrible things I don't want to be heard.
You always, and that's why we have to tremendously cut down the podcast every episode.
It's usually 5 hours. Yes, hi, I see the like button. So you guys caught us in the middle of a conversation.
Yes. Okay. Obviously, no one's watching right now, and maybe no one will join us. We'll see. Who knows? But for those watching this, if we keep it uploaded, which we probably will, I can't see why we wouldn't just keep this uploaded.
With all the other stuff that we upload, I think it would make sense.
Watch in awe as I turn off my PlayStation. Great content. So this is a test that John and I are doing. I'll leave test in the title so you don't have any expectations.
If you ever have any expectations,
that's your fault, really. You know what this is. You know what this channel is.
Yeah.
You know, like how channels and like even channels I'm a part of have this, where they always have a tagline, and they don't necessarily push it a lot. Like you don't know what every channel's tagline is, but they usually do. We don't really have one. Ours should be.
I've tested multiple taglines, by the way, just so you're aware.
You've tested them with me, and I didn't know.
No, I mean during the show. I throw out taglines all the time.
But I feel like a good one would be like lower your expectations.
Oh yeah. Low connection quality. There we go. Wi-Fi friends.
That's pretty good.
Quality. Because it's not just like or low quality standard. I don't know. We'll workshop.
What about low quality, high friendship? No. I got a better one already. Low quality, high chemistry.
Ooh, nice. And then underneath that, it says married boys talking
This is why I don't take you seriously, because I always think you're joking.
I think that's a great tagline.
All right, let's make a poll. Shall we? Can we make a poll? I don't know how much like power you have with a non-partnered YouTube channel.
Q&A.
Sorry?
No, sorry. I was looking at the side of the screen of that I have.
Create a video or a post. Oh no, we don't have the ability to make a post. Apparently, we're not special enough.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we don't really do a whole lot. Our 14 subscribers.
They're obsessed with us though. They can't get enough.
I'm pretty sure 90% of them are people that either know you or follow you guys. Your stuff.
It's true. It's true. I'm getting some connection issues. This might be an issue. This is why we test. Are you hearing me now?
There we go. Okay, now you're not like a robot.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. There was a lot of connection issues then. Maybe what we can do, guys, we'll try to be funny, but this is mainly a test, so we apologize, is lower the quality of the stream.
Interesting.
If we lower the quality, it might not freak out as much. Now, how I'm going to lower the quality?
I was going to say,
unknown to me.
How this thing works.
Oh, here we are.
No,
wait.
Limit bandwidth? Maybe. What if I go to the middle? Because I was on like high.
How do I get to that? I'm not seeing that option.
So I'm moving my mouse, and there's like this bar that appears over the top that has hang up call settings.
Yes.
It has a Wi-Fi symbol, like a little bar.
You're completely right. All right, let's go to the middle. Let's try the middle. Shall we? Oh, my
it fixed your lighting almost.
That's weird.
Weirdly, lowering the quality. I mean, now I'm seeing that your face looks a little different, but it like didn't have the blue light as much.
Yeah, I just it zoomed me way in somehow. No, my lighting. Okay. All right, so I look trash, but I hopefully sound better. You know what we need? We need a third party. But
who are we gonna rope into this?
Everyone I know is probably asleep.
Hold on, let me Snapchat JT.
Definitely in bed. He's an old man.
Hey, this is John Johnson. You were Snapchatting me about Terrace House earlier. I'm live with Cameron Morris on the Wi-Fi First channel. If we call you on Google Hangouts, you should answer. So hopefully you see this.
I don't think he's gonna answer. What time is it?
Um,
Oh, it's way past JT's bedtime.
oh yeah, but I'm still gonna send that to him though.
Yeah, definitely do. Definitely do. I think you should we should always assume JT's in bed, but hope that he's not. I once called Jack Thomas at like 9 o'clock, and he was like, "Why are you calling me? It's so late."
He's watching Terrace House earlier. I guess he's very obsessed with it.
He's very, very obsessed with Terrace House. He will not shut up about that show, but apparently it's nice, so I don't want to judge him.
Complain though, because I literally have been talking about Vampire Diaries for 3 episodes of the podcast so far.
Yeah, when we do the next podcast, it's going to be interesting to see.
There will be no Vampire Diaries talk.
Okay, all right.
That's why I specifically chose the current phase that I did, because I was like, I gotta get away from it. I gotta.
Is there any interesting siblings in Vampire Diaries?
They're actually the main characters are 2 brothers.
Oh my god, we're not. You're gonna talk about it. There's no way you're not gonna talk about it.
I thought about other siblings so that I didn't focus on Vampire Diaries.
Funny that I'm not gonna speak about it now, but I'll give a little bit of a hint as like a little teaser for the upcoming podcast. For my topic,
got a notification for our live stream.
Oh wow! Number 1 fan is the co-host. For that topic, spoilers. One of the upcoming topics is best fictional siblings. And when I wrote that topic, I was in the middle of watching a show that has really cool siblings. And then after I wrote that in our Google Drive, where it's like where we plan, every podcast, I was like, what are the coolest siblings? I was like, I'm definitely going to talk about these siblings. And then I watched another episode of what I was watching, and one of the siblings betrayed the other siblings. And I was like, no.
Well, good siblings betray each other sometimes.
Yeah, but she murdered his girlfriend and everything. So it was like,
I can tell you which siblings are not on my list. It's the Maximoff twins. They're the worst siblings. You forget that they're siblings. That's how bad they are.
I mean, I like them individually, but they don't really have any chemistry.
I like them individually. I don't care about their relationship.
No, yeah, I definitely think it should be like they're better than the sum of their parts when they're together. It's not the worse when they're together.
Yeah, they get less interesting when they're forced to hang out with each other.
Oh man, we should do a mini topic. We should do worst siblings.
Oh, worst. Okay, well, specifically the Ultimate Universe Maximoff twins. Do you remember?
Really?
Do you remember specifically because they did a weird incest story.
Of course they did.
Yeah, this was Ultimates 3, the one that was not written by.
Is that the one with the vampires?
Yeah, that's the one where Blade shows up and Venom's there for some reason.
And Hulk is a vampire.
Captain America, I think, is dressed as Black Panther for some reason.
And Punisher is Captain America.
Yeah, it's super weird. That was the one by Jeff Loeb, of course.
Of course. He's the guy who did one good comic and then never did anything else.
Oh, gosh. Remember when I used to hate Jeff Loeb? That was a good time.
Do you remember when Browncoat Eric was really going hard on Jeff Loeb, and he was claiming that he was Jeff Loeb was only ever written one
kind of like a weird person.
Oh man. Yeah, I think I never really got into the Ultimate Universe. What I really got into was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I never got into. I read the first Ultimate Avengers, which was actually pretty good. It was actually really good, and I like how much they took from that in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
But I really was just a big fan of Ultimate Spider-Man. Honestly,
I loved Ultimate Spider-Man. I got kind of in Ultimate X-Men, but then Ultimate X-Men gets really weird.
I definitely knew. The only thing I knew from Ultimate X-Men was, isn't that where Wolverine's crazy Weapon X costume comes from? Where he's got the one he wears in
the silver mask thing, and
yeah.
No, that one comes from way back. That was Frank Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I've mixed those up. Was there an Ultimate Wolverine book then where it was
Yeah, there was, and he has a son who's in our universe now.
Oh, Dakin.
No, not Dakin. This is his Ultimate Universe child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which actually no, I think there's something weird I think about Quicksilver, and I don't remember everything from the Ultimate because it gets very they get away from what the Ultimate Universe was supposed to be about very quickly.
Yeah, very much. And that's what
Like, hey, here's a fresh starting point that's not going to confuse readers. And then they kept. It's like the Earth One books. If the Earth One books just became a giant weekly comics, events that crossed over with each other and completely took away from like the whole point.
It is weird. I mean, like I don't know. The Ultimate series was a good idea, I think, but it just it only really worked for me when they stuck to the individual books. Like you can read all of Ultimate Spider-Man, and until like the New York disaster or whatever they call it, it kind of, you don't need to read anything else, so that was what was kind of fun about it. But then it got to the point where it was just another second stressful Marvel universe.
Yeah. It was like, no, I wanted something that I didn't have to read 9 other times to get into.
Yeah. Like when they started doing crossover events in the Ultimate Universe, I was like, what?
Like,
It's like, it must be stressful for us as readers, but also stressful for the writers, because they were like, I thought getting an Ultimate book would mean that I could do whatever I wanted,
Instead, there's this whole continuity universe that I have to, now this one I have to understand and read.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird
about Bendis's Superman book.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I think you lagged out a little bit.
Have you seen anything about Bendis's Superman?
Bendis is doing Superman.
No, he's over at DC now. He's done at Marvel.
Really? I was so used to him like writing like Avengers and all that I was just like, oh, he's maybe signed a deal with Marvel. But I guess I haven't read like current comics in a while.
Me either. I just like I think Twitter mostly is how I keep up.
He's going mental.
Yeah. But he's taking over Superman Action Comics, and he's doing a like 7-part Man of Steel book, which is like John Byrne kind of. Like this is like our Superman like this is like his story, whatever. And so his first story was in Action Comics 1000, and it has this Kryptonian villain this villain who's like trying to kill Superman and Supergirl, and he's like, oh, who are you? Why are you doing this? And he's like, I'm the reason Krypton's dead. And it's like, oh, okay. It's Bendis, so I'm sure it's going to be good. But like that premise is not the type of thing that grabs me. When you're like, here's a new Superman villain, and yes, we're going back to Krypton.
It grabbed me the first 3 times they did it, but now we're on like the 20th time. Like pretty much every single person from Krypton has either come back as a hero or a villain. Like it's basically, you didn't have to destroy the planet, and like 8 different people have claimed responsibility.
And I'm like, just give me a Superman book. I don't need all this Kryptonian bullshit. Even though I like the show, I think the show is amazing. But that's because it's not Clark. I think people lose the fact that, like, okay, say Cameron, imagine you were born in Japan, okay, but when you were a baby, you moved and you were adopted by a family in Kansas.
Yes.
You're not, like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see yourself as more Japanese or more from Japan than from Kansas.
Probably not. No, you probably
like a connection, and you'd like, absorb the culture, and like, because that was what you were raised in, those are the values you were raised in. So I always hate when Superman stories are like, Clark Kent is just the disguise. Superman too. Oh, shut up.
Because it's like, it should. No, I hate saying should be, because it's like, it's not my decision to make. But for me, it's always been that Batman is the guy and Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Yeah.
It's like he is Batman and he puts Bruce Wayne on to, but for Superman, it's the other way around. He's Clark Kent and he just uses Superman to inspire people and do all the good things. Yeah, but his primary, that's why, like, you usually, when everyone calls him Clark, most people go, oh, hey, Clark, even if he's in a superhero costume, if they know who he is, they'll be like, hey, Clark, how you doing? Whereas, like, Batman demands to be called Batman a lot. Like, I think Superman's the only one who really calls him Bruce, and maybe Dinah.
It just is like, and I hate when people forget that, like, Kansas is not just, like, New York. They like to pretend that Clark has no Southern qualities whatsoever. Yeah, and I'm like, he was born on a farm in Kansas. I'm sure he was watching college football with Ma and Pa Kent every night, drinking sweet tea or something, like, he's like a farm boy. And I wish some people would, like, play up that more.
No, 100%. I think that like I'm quite a big fan of Man of Steel the movie, and I think that was one of the cool things about it is it kind of leaned more into him being a bit more of a, like when he's in the city, he's always like, oh, what's going on? Like he's a bit like, wobbly and stuff. And I do think that they should maybe lead into, Superman is a great character. I'm just having this idea on the fly here to really deal with that idea of like. Is Chloe okay? She's just destroying your apartment.
No, I'm pretty sure that was one of the casts.
Oh, okay. They're teaming and scheming.
Yeah, they both work together. They just tag team in and out.
I've also Superman. Well, I didn't always thought. I just thought just now that Superman would be a good way to address that kind of interesting Southern thing, where there's a lot of people in the South who they have a lot of the same values as that you would associate with a stereotypical Southerner, but they're not racist or bigoted because for some reason everyone thinks everyone in the South is racist and bigoted.
Yeah, they have family values and a strict moral code and stuff like that. But they don't subscribe to some of the negative history that has impacted some of the poor areas.
Yeah, I feel like Superman is interesting because he's kind of he could, if you write him correctly, he could be the type of guy who's no, I'm sticking up for people in the South. These are all the good things about the South. I'm sick of people thinking of everyone as hillbillies and stuff. There was a meme going around. I know this is a weird segue, but there's a meme going around years and years ago where it was morally just Southerner, and he's leaning against a truck. He's got he's got the farmer's tan, he's got the cap, and he's got a beer, but he's saying super liberal and woke things, and I'm that should be Superman, he should be cracking a beer, laying against a van with a cap with a bit of thing in his mouth.
Argued that Superman does not show off the guns enough.
Oh, 100%.
I imagine he's I wanted to either commission a piece or just write this scene of superheroes working out in the Watchtower gym and how they would all dress very differently and how how they would work out. Bruce would be very much he's got the Under Armour shirt on and the shorts and the he's very color coordinated and he's very kind of bland. I think it was Hal would be wearing a crop top and really short 80s shorts.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Just standing. He'd be that guy though who's constantly circling the gym equipment, but he never really gets into it.
Yeah.
People to be watching him so that he can show off how much he's benching.
Yeah, I feel sorry to jump on, but Wally would totally be the guy who just threw on whatever he found in the house. He's just got kind of shorts that you wouldn't really wear to the gym, but you could with a push. And he's got a hoodie on that he just slept in the night before.
And his hair's all disheveled, and they're are you even awake now? And he's no, I'm good. I'll work out for 2 seconds and then I'm good. And then Superman's got a tank top and just some good old fashioned normal shorts.
Yeah, he's got one of those tank tops that are really loose as well.
Yeah. Or
super loose.
Or he's got a t-shirt, but you could tell he cut the sleeves off. So it's got that open all the way down here.
Oh god.
An open armpit, open side boob, but for dudes.
Yeah. And it's it barely even covers the front.
Yes,
it's
down here. He works. Triple H would work out. I imagine that's how.
Oh my god!
For my aerodynamics, it's just the best way I can work out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones and what might other weird gym habits other heroes would have. I'm trying to think of members of the Justice League. I feel Wonder Woman would be quite similar to Batman in the sense that she'd have all the best equipment, the best stuff. But she would be actually working out, whereas Bruce would be more concerned about how he looked.
She's got sweatbands on, and she's got her little timer that ticks and shows her her heart rate and because she's just very meticulous about and then I imagine Hawk Girl, because Scott Snyder's writing Justice League.
Okay.
And there's this event called No Justice, which is the one I showed you about, which was the different teams.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
So that one's about teaming heroes and villains together because Brainiac needs help because of something out of Dark Knight's Metal that I didn't read, that I know nothing about. But then there's the actual Justice League book he's going to be writing, which is the cartoon team. It's Hawk Girl,
no way.
it's Martian Manhunter, it's Batman, Superman, John Stewart.
John Stewart is the best.
It's that team, and I'm like, oh man, like that is my Justice League team. Like when I think of the Justice League, I think of that group. I love that group so much. I went on a tangent, but I just thought about Hawk Girl, and I just thought about like what I see is the core, like the real Justice League team. Like that's what I imagine.
It's interesting how like a lot of the cartoons inform that, because it's for me like like what my Batman is, what my Superman is, what my Justice League is, that's kind of informed by the TV shows. Like even though this is 100% not canon, when people ask me like who are the Justice League, I always say, well, they're these members, and I don't use the like human names. I'll just use their like character names because it's interchangeable a lot of times. But I'll be like, there's the Trinity, and then after the Trinity, there's like another couple, and then they sit around the table, and then they employ like every other superhero ever, because that's like based on Justice League Unlimited. Yeah. But it's not really like that in the comics. It's just like Unlimited.
Well, is it like a time, but they've gotten like away from that. My thing about Justice League is that the members never really mattered. Yeah. Like the members of the Justice League never really mattered. The Justice League are just kind of who wants to hang out at that time period.
I always loved the Unlimited thing, because it always felt to me like they were less of a team like the Avengers, where it's like, this guy does this guy does this, and they were more of like a support, like a union for superheroes. Yeah. Like in Justice League Unlimited, obviously there was the main core, right? And then they, were a team. They knew each other's names and they hung out and they would always plan stuff. But when it moved to Unlimited, you would have these side stories where Green Arrow's got his own story and he's doing something and he needs to get something done. And then halfway through the episode, he's like, I could use my Justice League, resources. So you'll pop to the tower. Dinah's there, and he's like, hi, Dinah. Like, maybe, like, what's his name? Blue Beetle's there. And then he picks him up, and he goes, let's go. And then they go. And I like that idea of, like, it being more of, like, a union or a clubhouse than...
That's my favorite thing I think about, like, the Legion. Because it's literally just, like, every superhero in the universe is part of the Legion of Superheroes. And then, like, whoever, like, is the best for that situation. It's like, all right, cool. Chameleon, get over here. Element Lad, get over here. Saturn Girl, you too. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Yeah, I think Legion are one of those things where I've only ever seen them in other people's books. Yeah, I've never read like Legion of superhero books, but I've seen them in Superman. Obviously, they turn up all the time, and I've seen them in a couple of other books. And I one of my favorite things about the Legion of Superheroes, I love that everyone can fly because of the ring. It's such a weird little interesting quirk, but they were like, superheroes should be able to fly. So let's just figure out a way that no matter what your power is, even if you're the Blob, you can still fly.
So I had Legion Superheroes is one of my like, I have my story for them. If I'm ever DC knocks on the door, is like, hey John, whatever you want. I've got my Man-Bat story that makes no sense. I've got my Legion Superheroes story, and I've always loved that team. I always wanted to do like, did you read Kieran Gillen's Young Avengers?
Is that the one with the,
Marvel Boy and like Kate Bishop Hawkeye, and Loki? It's the one with Loki on it.
Yes, and who's the girl, Captain America type character?
Oh, Miss America, America Chavez.
Yeah. So I read the first issue and I thought it was awesome, but I never picked up the trade because I didn't want to buy the issue. So I was like, I'll wait for the trade, and then I never did.
It's lovely, but that was always like my idea for like a Legion book, which is like. Okay. So you've got all these disparate heroes, like they're all kind of like all not edgy, but they're all like punk kids in their own manner, Yeah. And you've got like Lightning Lad, who's like the only one who's like an altruistic hero. You've got like Saturn Girl, who's kind of like she's a rebellious, like anti-authority like person. You've got Cosmic Boy, who's just kind of like this jerk movie star that he's had like 8 movies, whatever, like ridiculous like franchise that nobody likes. And so like Brainiac, whatever, he fakes this like event of like, oh, there are like bad guys attacking, and they like accidentally come together a team, and then Brainy shows up. He's like, hey guys, we're a superhero team now, and they're like, aren't you the bad guy? Didn't you send all these guys? And he's like, no, like. I feel like the world needs like someone to look up to, and like Superman's my favorite person. So like, I think we should do a team like Superman used to have. And so they like become their own team. They go off on like dumb adventures. And it's really, really stupid but fun also. There's a pool party issue because there has to be a pool party. The issue is just them hanging out at the beach. But it's like this space beach that like the water like goes off into the stars, like into an abyss, whatever.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for those like teen superhero, like, oh, not even superhero, but just like teenage groups that are forced together for whatever reason, and they've all got like powers that also usually act as a metaphor for like their personalities. Like the new 52 Teen Titans is still one of like the most surprisingly good books, because I've always loved Teen Titans. I will pick up any Teen Titans no matter who's writing it, even if it's like even if it's the weirdest pairing ever that I don't think would work, like Frank Miller doing the Teen Titans, I'd be like, this probably isn't going to work, but I'll pick it up. Not to say that I don't like Frank Miller, I just don't think that he'd be a Teen Titans writer.
I mean, I don't like Frank Miller now, but I love old Frank Miller.
Yeah, when he wasn't like making books about fighting terrorists for whatever reason. But I think that I would always read Teen Titans, but that book really caught me because it really nailed that idea of like all these teenagers, some of which like each other, but most of which are just hanging out because they have to hang out, and then they just grow to like really get on. And then in that as well, there is a pool episode that is like, I was reading it, I was like, oh my god, this is like such like catered for me and John.
Yeah.
There's like this traumatic event, super traumatic event. It's like the most dramatic thing they've faced as a team. And then immediately the next issue, I think they go back in time to like dinosaur time, or they go to like an alternate dimension, whatever. But it's like dinosaur-ish time. And there's just a pool, and they're like, oh, that was like the most traumatic thing ever. Does everyone want to jump in the pool? And they all just jump in the pool and hang out. And I was like, this is written for me. This is the best.
You kind of reminds me of Young Justice. Like the first season, whatever, which is like, we're all kind of just together just because like we all tangentially kind of know each other. And they like slowly become like really good friends and stuff like that. That next season's supposed to be coming out soon, I think.
I hope they haven't forgotten about it, because I was a huge Young Justice fan. Then they got season 2, and I was like a huge season 2 fan. And then then obviously they cancelled it, and then they were like, we're bringing it back, and there was this huge hype, yay, we're bringing it back, and then silence.
And from what it looked like, they're doing The Outsiders.
It makes sense, because if you watch season 1 and season 2, there's a huge time skip, and like a lot of the characters get like swapped out, and like the other characters are still there, but they're kind of just side characters. Oh god, John's on the move.
Yeah, just like in all my videos, I'm always on the move. I'm not gonna make the cat get down, honey. The cat wants to stay up there. She's just like, get down, and I'm like, no, she wants to. She's obviously up there for a reason.
Oh man,
the very informal Wi-Fi friends video, which I mean, again, not to constantly down us, but most of our videos are pretty informal. Well, not all of them.
No, I feel like the kind of thing we have is like the expectations are low. So there will be some videos that are like this where it's just like, what the hell is going on? But then when we hit it out of the park, it's like, oh, wow. That was interesting.
It's like, oh, we can actually, like, when we put time and effort into things, they can look like a little nice.
Like when you start a video with a sketch, I was like, oh, cool. Whereas if you started every video with a sketch,
I was like, hey, it's like, oh, so good.
Still to this day, I'm still trying to make my version of your Green Lantern pitch, where you're like on drugs and you're like insanely writing all over the place. I like had a great idea, and I tried to film it like 6 times, and I just wasn't in like the headspace. And I was like, I need to be like, you know, like you need to be like hyped for this if you're gonna do like crazy writing and stuff.
There are a couple, like I wanted to do like a late night show.
Okay.
like your like normal like late night like talk show host show, but like I didn't really have that for it. That like I was like, I don't really have the furniture to like look, because I wanted like one of those like red chairs, whatever, that you're just sitting in and I'm just drinking a cocktail, whatever, and I'm like, oh, welcome to the Wi-Fi Friends late night.
when we made on back when we were Man on Fire, we made a show. I don't know if anyone remembers, called Fan Friction.
Yes,
Um,
I distinctly remember the show.
Such a good show. One of my favorite things we've ever made. And
Yeah.
for that, we had the idea and we didn't do it for so long because we needed it to look a certain way. And we were like, it's not going to work unless it looks a certain way. And then we finally found, like, we were like, oh, we can do the room like this. We can move the chairs. And it was just like the perfect, like, just like that like old, like, you know, like armchair, like, oh,
Yeah.
hello, I didn't know you'd be joining me tonight.
That's like my ideal video.
I honestly, we still have access to that set. I feel like we should use it more. Like, but I always feel weird when you write something around a location because it always feels like, are you writing this because it's good, or are you just writing it to use the place?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to be fair, I did that with my film that I made, and I started with the locations, and I was like, how can I make a story about this? And it turned out pretty good. So, it just depends on how hard you work.
Yeah. Depends on you. You gotta put that effort, put that work in.
I'd be interested to see what happens now. I've been a little bit super busy. I've been a little bit super busy. So I've had, like, you know, the beginnings. I might just upload if it gets to a point where I haven't, like, made a Wi-Fi Friends video in a while. I might just upload all the attempted videos because I have, like, takes and shots where I, like, set the camera up, set the mic up, try, and then I go, this isn't working, and then I just take it all down. And, like, I've got so many of these now where I've just got, like, this big failed library.
Yeah. No, I have, like, a whole bunch of just clips on my phone of just, like, attempting to do a video, and either there's a loud noise or there's something that drags me away, and I'm just like, well, never mind.
It is. I want to get to. I think if I had a phone where the camera was, like, anyway decent, I would really like to just do some on the fly. But it's like one of those things where if I'm going to use my camera, I was like, well, if I use my camera, I may as well set the mic up and make sure the lighting's right. And then at that point, I'm like, oh, I'm fucking done now. I've lost the inspiration.
That's the problem, is that I have easy accessibility. I just start doing things without 100% fully thinking them out.
That's what you got to do, though. You got to just kind of, you know, like fucking just do it and do it and do it. And then when it's uploaded, then you can regret it.
Yeah. Believe me, I thought that the Kingdom Hearts 3 thoughts video was super hilarious. Then I watched it with my wife, and she's like, you've got too much shit on the video.
No!
Words everywhere. And I was like, no! I thought it was funny. She's like, it's too much to read.
That's the point, though. That's the best part. Like, when you watch Deadpool 2, I don't know if you've seen Deadpool 2.
Not yet. We might see it. Who's it?
It's very, very interesting, very funny movie. But, like, the first time you watch it, you're only seeing the surface of the movie. It isn't until you watch it again and, like, read all the little things and look in the background and stuff. And I love stuff like that. Like, I love. There's a sketch by these sketch YouTubers, huge influences to me. Like, when we were thinking about starting the sketch channel, everyone kind of had in their mind, you know, what they wanted to do. And one of the ones in mind was, like, I want to be like Jack and Dean. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're a sketch comedy channel. So they're British, so it was like, oh, you know, like, you know, there's that connection as well.
Yeah.
But they have a sketch, it's fantastic sketch called Nazi Bar. And I don't want to spoil it, but the premise is these two guys are hanging out in a bar and they don't realize that it's a Nazi bar. And they slowly start realizing based on all, like, these little clues. And one of the bits is that he goes up to order a drink. And he's like, what drinks do you have? And there's like, oh, look at the menu. And there's like a 1 second shot of the menu. And then it cuts back to the main character. But if you pause it, you can read every single drink. And they're all Nazi puns. Every single one of them. And it's just like, I love stuff like that. Because it's like, it's giving the viewer, like, more little nuggets that you wouldn't have time to really do. And that's why I kind of like the flashing text, because there are some things where, you know, when I watch a video, I'm not pausing it constantly. I'll just watch it all the way through. And then when I watch it again, I'll be like, what does that say? And then it's like, oh my God.
And then you like Big Sword Daddy on one of them.
I think that was the Sora. When you start talking about Sora, one of those characters. But to this day, and I hope this doesn't make you sad because it's not your most recent video, but to this day, the best video you've ever made is the fun video. It's just like the perfect.
The video when I was in the middle of Target and I'm just like, I'll make a video. It literally took me 3 seconds to make.
But it's like the perfect, like length and like weird disorientated cutting as well. Like, you know, obviously the first bit is when you're trying to do the joke with your wife and it doesn't go well, and then it just awkwardly cuts away to another bit where you're just like, anyway, I want to talk about the Ant-Man and Wasp trailer, and you don't say anything about it except for that it's fun.
Because I literally like just seen it like maybe 5 minutes before that,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I'll do a video about the Ant-Man and Wasp trailer. I think I can. And then I was just like, and that's one of those where my brain just like going off the top of the dome sometimes gets some really funny and interesting things.
Yes.
Other times I just go circle the same point.
Well, because I was watching the video and you could see like I don't think you could fake this. You could see you realizing while you watched the video that while you recorded the video, you could see in your eyes, you start to realize that you have no thoughts about the trailer. You just liked it. That was literally all the thing you had. You had no interesting points to make. You had nothing new to say.
There's like nothing to say about it.
You were like, you just like talking. You're like, right, I'm going to talk about my thoughts about the Ant-Man trailer. It was fun. And then it's like fun. Oh man, perfect. Great. God, I hope this test worked. It's been interesting. Right? I think it's viable. I like it for. I don't know if we said this on air or not. I like the idea of doing it for like big, like lots of guests, maybe, or maybe just one guest, but like talking about something that's recently happened in like this Google Hangout setting, and then we can obviously upload the video for those who didn't see the live stream. And then obviously having the regular podcast just be the audio-based thing. I hope that I can figure out, because a lot of podcasts have been going on to Spotify now, and it's like such a ball ache to get it onto iTunes. Yeah, but if it's like easier to get it onto Spotify, I might do that, because I don't personally listen to things on Spotify, but people do.
I love Spotify. I use Spotify for everything. That's where I listen to all my music. Also, I was thinking about doing timestamps.
Oh.
So that we could do like topic 1 starts at this time. Watching really comes for the topics. But if they did want to skip to a topic or whatever, like, oh, I'm really only interested in this one, they could just skip to it and listen to like what we had to say about it.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good idea. I mean, we could do that on the fly as well. Like we could do that while recording, just as you know.
Yeah, just write it down and put it in the description.
Yeah, and I can obviously check that while editing, just because we messed it up. Oh my gosh.
Why are you laughing at nothing?
You gotta laugh at nothing sometimes. That's how you gotta live your life.
You're just laughing when I turn. You're literally laughing when I turn. God, don't bite me. No, we don't bite. She likes to be the dog. This is the thing.
Oh god, that's great. I think your daughter is Boo from Monsters Inc.
Yes, she's a combination of that or Stitch.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Chloe.
Yep. Oh gosh. How do you feel about the direction of the channel? She just wants to press buttons. She's very adept at her Kindle. It's like a kid's Kindle. So she has like these little apps and games and stuff and like TV shows. And she works her thing better than we do.
Does Chloe want to sign off the live stream?
Huh?
Does Chloe want to sign off the live stream? As good as her father is outroing things.
Yeah, you want to say bye?
Hi.
Okay.
So close.
Let's say bye. Okay, bye.
Bye, Chloe.
Bye.
Aww.